when I signed up for this job, for me, my number one priority was to unseat the ANC, because I realized having the ANC as government of this country, you don't have to have a mind like Einstein. This country is going to collapse. So I needed to really stop this collapse. And I said, if not me, who else should really do it? In terms of corruption, I knew there was corruption, but I did not realize to the extent to which people would go to protect corruption, to protect maladministration. Because I took over a government that is dominated by patronage network. People in senior positions were not in positions because of what they knew. They were in positions because of who they knew. So it was really very difficult when you've got to take over in an administration like that, because local government in South Africa, it's a very, very highly regulated environment. And the ANC has mastered over the last 26 years to infiltrate the entire organization, our country, to be run purely on a patronage network, not on what people knew. I had a privilege over the last 36 years of my life running business and really had fun. And I thought I was hardworking, man. Honestly, I started business career at the age of 22 during the dark days of this country's history, when as a black man, I was not allowed to. And, I used to tell my kids, they don't believe them. They don't believe when I tell them. I used to do plus minus 10,000 kilometers a month. And more especially in the beginning of my business career, I still needed to carry the passbook, that reference book, which you needed your white employer to sign it on a month-to-month basis. So every morning when I left home, you're not sure whether you're going to come back because you'd really be arrested for being at the wrong place at the wrong time. So I thought really over the years of building my business empire, I worked hard until I got into this job. I used to really complain jokingly to Mike Muriachi, because Mike Muriachi played a key role in convincing me to eventually take over this job. Because I realized, if not me, who? Because when I looked at the DA's the mayoral candidates, I realized they stand no chance with the ANC. That is why I had to get Mike to get me Lindiwe Masikupe's contact details, because I've heard of this lady. I'd never met her in my life. So I said to Mike, what about let's try this woman, because the media, everybody's raving about her. Let's get her. Unlike you get a capitalist like me into this political field, So I got her full contact details. I dropped her an email. I said, you know what, I'm coming to the States. Can I come and see you? I'd like to come and have dinner with you. Gladly, she accepted. So I flew all the way, spent 2 great nights with her. The first night, went to watch the Black Mabazo were playing at the university in the snow. The following night, that's when she took me to a nice restaurant with snow outside, and I shared my reason for being there. Unfortunately, outright, she said, look, Herman, leave me out of this. And I now come back disappointed and said, what the hell there? And obviously, the firing of Minister Nene was the final blow. That's when I said to Mike and the DA, I said, guys, I'm ready, let me really do it. And obviously, firstly, I had to really get the permission of my wife and my children. And it says that it's either we leave the country or you participate, and I had that blessing. I had no clue what do people do in council and how do you run this machinery. But I said, obviously, if there's thugs, if there's crooks and looters can run it, I'm sure I can do it. To my surprise, Bruce, the longer our relationship and our coalition succeeded, the more support I was getting from the EFF. In fact, the biggest in all the coalition partners, the seven-way coalition, the biggest partner in this unfortunately became the DA. The EFF were very supportive. ANC were determined. I mean, on a daily basis, if they could find a way to get rid of me, they would really do it by any means necessary. So, and EFF really supported me. But were they easy partners? Absolutely not. But they were very supportive. How you ask yourself, how did I manage to really get rid of senior ANC top structures? Because in local government, to get rid of Section 56 managers, the process, Bruce, it's mind-boggling. We think we've got draconian labor laws. Like labor laws in this country ever since they were introduced. I've always called them openly, unapologetically. They were that draconian. Now you can imagine. Now, please just look at the two legislation controlling municipalities, the Systems Act and the Structural Act. I think this ANC must have developed the two pieces of legislation to ensure that they can still, with impunity, and make it difficult to get rid of them. But look at how many of them I managed to get rid of. I think I must have fired more senior people in the municipalities, like all the municipalities combined in 20 years. In all the meetings, in all public meetings, I would really want everybody to really know that, guys, I'm not here to make friends. I've got just too many friends. But one thing for sure, I'm one person who I value friendship. I value friendship, but it must not really be the kind of friendship that we see happening at some Shebeen in Sex and World. I'd always tell them in official public meetings, I'll tell them, if you want the kind of friendship that has been happening in the city of Joburg all this time, go to a Shebeen. We've heard of a Shebeen in Sex and World. I've never been to that Shebeen. When make friendship there. Here, we are here to work and work for society. So I made that really very clear. So that is why I became really very unpopular with what I eventually called snakes. But fortunately enough, I won the hearts and minds of the residents of the city of Johannesburg, because I was determined to root out corruption. I was committed in creating a professional public service. I wanted to really bring the private sector to really be our friends in rebuilding the city that was destroyed in just under 20 years. I mean, I remember after Nelson Mandela's victory, I was one of the people invited to the celebration. We celebrated at the ballroom at the Carlton Center. That's just a few days ago. I mean, if I may call it that way. And you look at that city, that human beings can destroy a beautiful city like that, turn it into a slum in 20 years. I think for me it was mind-boggling. That is why on the 1st of December 2016, during my 100 days, I committed to the people of Johannesburg that, you know what, I'm going to take back the city from criminal elements, whether they like it or not. And I will work with the private sector to build affordable accommodation for our people and our students. And that made me very unpopular with criminal syndicates. But fortunately enough, you know what? I was really fortunate in the sense that criminals have never really been an issue for me in my life. I've never been scared of criminals. In fact, the more criminal element you exhibit to me, I can tell you, the more determined you make me, because I honestly and truly, I hate criminals. For as long as people of South Africa are not going to realize that ANC is going to destroy this country, the sooner we can unseat the ANC, the better. But how do we then unseat the ANC? People are under impression that you've got to convince die-hard ANC people to see the wrongs of the ANC. The ANC diehards will never see anything wrong with the ANC because they are the biggest beneficiaries. Look at the results of elections last year. Just under 19 million South Africans did not vote, as opposed to just over 17 million. So, and the people that did not go out and vote are really people that you cannot buy them with a T-shirt or a food parcel and so forth. So I think we need to get South Africans to wake up, to understand that staying away from voting it's actually to allow a collapsing ANC to collapse with the country. So we've got to go out the next elections, we've got to go out in numbers. And for me, I don't care which political party they vote for, as long as we can remove the ANC from power. That's the first thing that we've got to do. But at the same time, we've got to do away with this socialist or communist nonsense. I think don't laugh. It's a kind of nonsense that the South Africa must. I don't know how one can do to remove it from the brains of South Africans. That we need a free market economy. We need small businesses. We need government that's committed to the rule of law. We need to build a non-racial society. And these are things that we must not really take them for granted, going to church and hoping that they will happen. We need to work towards some of those core values I'm talking about.